Hey, BTT members! Woo! The week is starting yet again, and it's not just any week, it's Comic-Con week. I'm hearing some very interesting buzz about the Marvel panel. I think if things actually pan out as I'm hearing, you will be very happy. I'm not going to publicly report what I've heard, but since this is the place for tea, and I saw some of you were like, maybe we'll get some tea today, you've inspired me to tell you what I'm hearing that might be announced at Comic-Con. And then we'll get to today's stories. But I'm hearing Shang-Chi casting probably, which a couple of other outlets have been reporting. So there's that situation, Shang-Chi. But I'm also hearing that we might be getting not only Dark Avengers, but maybe Young Avengers as well. Young Avengers would be a very big headline, and it would bring in a new generation. But that's, take that with a grain of salt. This is still coming together, and Kevin Feige could always make some last-minute decisions. This is just the buzz that's going on behind the scenes. Also, speaking about behind-the-scenes tea, some other information has come to my attention, and it seems that maybe the Frozen 2 stuff that we discussed recently is not going to happen. It seems, I can't really go into it because I was told information off the record, but just let me tell you that some changes are being made to Frozen 2. That's all that I'm going to discuss with it. For Shang-Chi, I agree. I think Ross, most of you voted for Scarlett Johansson on my poll, which I thought was hilarious. A lot of people want Ludi Lin. Ludi Lin has an Ezra Miller-like feel to me. I worry about him in the long run. I don't know if he fits with the Disney and even the Marvel brand, to be honest with you. I would maybe go with Ross Butler. That's who I'd probably pick if I were Kevin Feige. But let's see who he goes with. I think that Ludi Lin is like the DC choice, and that's why DC has a lot of problems. All right, so anyway, don't put any Frozen spoilers in here, guys, for people who weren't listening the last time. All right, or who purposely didn't want to listen. So we're going to discuss the 3 stories, and then, of course, you may ask me anything that you would like in the last 10 minutes of the stream. All right, so let's get to the first story today. Ludi Lin, I don't know about Ludi Lin's sexuality, but I think he's very open, I think, I think that he's certainly, I like Ludi Lin, but I just don't know, I think Disney doesn't want to get into any trouble, although he does have a Chinese background. That's the other thing. If you're thinking about Shang-Chi, Marvel wants someone who has Chinese heritage. Ludi Lin is very strong on that point. I believe he was even born in China. So I think that would make him very attractive to Disney, which is why he's probably a front runner. But I'm just a little nervous about some of the other stuff that he does. Yes, both Ludi Lin and Ross Butler are in the DCU. But Marvel's so big, they just need what they need. Yes, Edward, the stream has started. All right, so the first story of the day, let's start out. So story number 1, bam. All right, so we're actually going to start with something that wasn't in the poster frame, and that's that Hobbs and Shaw versus Fast 9 is becoming a very interesting matchup, right? It seemed like it was not a competition, that Dwayne Johnson was going to wipe the floor with Vin Diesel. But it was recently Michelle Rodriguez's birthday, as you can see from this photo on the set of Fast and Furious 9, but the real gift came for Vin Diesel, and that is a string of bad news for Hobbs and Shaw. The first being that Hobbs and Shaw has come on the tracking board, and it's being predicted to open with $65 million. That's ridiculously low for a Fast and Furious movie. Fast and Furious films typically open much higher than that. It would be the lowest opening for a Fast and Furious movie in several years. So, especially since the beginning of August. It's the first weekend of August, which is a very strong opening weekend. So it would be underperforming not only for Fast and Furious, but it would be underperforming. Oh yeah, I didn't do where we're watching from. I apologize. We'll do that before the interactions. Sorry, I apologize. But anyway, and Tracy, I'm so glad that you're watching from Singapore. I always enjoy seeing you on here. So anyway, I think that it would be underperforming not only for Fast and Furious, but it would be underperforming for the first weekend of August. Also, last night, as some of you were mentioning, Fast and Furious had its Los Angeles premiere. Why so freaking early? It's because they're going to have premieres across the globe. But they should have saved Los Angeles for last, especially because last night, somebody apparently spilled some soda on an electrical outlet causing sparks, which made everybody in the front of the Dolby Theater, where they have the Oscars, jump up and run out because they got scared. So that wasn't so awesome either. And they had to bring everybody back in after they checked it and restart the movie. I think that's surprising. I would have thought Hobbs & Shaw would do better, although as we've been discussing, I've been a little bit nervous after the last trailer did so poorly in terms of viewership. It might be that the second trailer, while amazing, gave away too much of the movie. This picture is from the set of Fast and Furious 9. Vin Diesel, big smile on his face. You can see Jordana Brewster has returned to the franchise, who of course plays not only Vin Diesel's sister, but Paul Walker's wife, now widow. I wonder if how much older their son will be. Then also, you can see Michelle Rodriguez, looking cool as always, is sporting a much shorter haircut. John Cena is in the pic, and then there's also a new actress there as well, Anna Sui from Ninja Assassin, standing next to director Justin Lin. So it's back on! Vin Diesel might not lose his franchise after all. All right, so I think that's really interesting. All right, so that's the first story of the day. We'll keep an eye on Hobbs & Shaw. You never know if reviews are really strong. I haven't gotten a screening invite yet. But again, the movie is like a month out, or at least three weeks out. It's crazy. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. If it has very strong reviews, it might rebound a little bit, but I'm surprised. I would have thought that Hobbs & Shaw would open with $100 million for sure. All right, so that's the first story of the day. Let's go to the second one. Where's my mouse? There it is. Okay. Second one is that there was a story that debuted on Friday when they were like, oh, Christoph Waltz is back in Bond 25. And as I would suspect, no one freaking cared, right? I think the only thing that's going to get people interested in Bond 25 right now is a first look at Rami Malek in the film. People are very interested in that. And Rami Malek has spoken to the fact that he is a Middle Eastern actor of Middle Eastern descent playing a villain, and he said, I talked to Cary Fukunaga and we were very careful to make sure there was no terrorism angle. He's just playing a good old-fashioned villain, right? All right, so anyway, Christoph Waltz, of course, debuted in the last Bond movie, and it was revealed, I thought quite cleverly, that they are brothers. They look so much alike. However, they're adopted brothers, which I think is a little bit of a missed opportunity there. But anyway, I thought, the last Bond movie was weak. I was a little disappointed in it. And Christoph Waltz is also someone I'm disappointed with overall. I feel that he is, when he first came on the scene in Inglourious Basterds, everybody was like, this guy's a genius. But it turns out the real genius was Quentin Tarantino, who just cast him very well. Because it turns out that Christoph Waltz, despite having 2 Oscars, by the way, both for Tarantino movies, has absolutely no range as an actor. And he pretty much always plays the exact same thing. I liked him in Alita, when he was a little bit more low-key. But anyway, I'm kind of a little annoyed that he's in Bond 25, quite frankly, because I think it's going to undercut Rami Malek. I don't want Rami Malek's character to be working for Christoph Waltz. I want him to be his own cool guy. I mean, maybe Bond has to reach out to like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Something like that. But I would really hate to see the shadow of Blofeld over Rami Malek's character, because I want Rami Malek to really shine here. So yeah, Rami Malek's going to be totally driving interest in this movie, and I hope that the producers realize it. All right, so that's the second story of the day. Basically, nobody cares about Christoph Waltz being back as Blofeld. I think maybe they shouldn't have done one more Bond movie, to be honest with you, with Daniel Craig, but they are. I think it was time to move on after the last one, but they're not. All right, so now for the final story of the day, as I said, I put Scarlett Johansson is a choice for Shang-Chi. And you know what? She totally deserved it, because I can't believe that she's doubling down on her role decisions that have gotten her in trouble over the past few years and really substantially hurt her career. First, she was in Ghost in the Shell, playing an Asian character, which was conceived as an Asian character and has been an Asian character in many other incarnations. Then she wanted to play a transgender character, and a lot of people, of course, were like, this is not a good idea. I mean, I think that, she pointed out straight actors playing these roles in the past, but a lot of time, here's the thing, a lot a lot of things have changed very quickly in the industry in terms of representation. And I understand that actors are actors, but something that people are pointing out is that some actors have a very hard time in certain categories getting work, right? There are a lot of transgender actors or lesbian actresses who can't get any work, and this would be one of the rare opportunities where they could. So Scarlett Johansson, who has a plethora of roles open to her, really shouldn't be taking the work that she could get. People make jokes about it. They're like, when Bryan Cranston played a quadriplegic in The Upside, people were like, shouldn't have been a quadriplegic actor. That's kind of, there's so few actors. I think, I don't even know if there are any quadriplegic actors. You want them to have a certain level of talent, but there are, in the LGBT community, obviously, there's a number of actors, and I'm sure some of them are certainly good enough to be in a movie. So that's kind of the difference. It's a tough time, I think you shouldn't hold it against people to make mistakes. Well, you should on the whitewashing. That's problematic. I think the whitewashing is really bad. But I think with the transgender thing, I understand where she was coming from, but I feel like as soon as people clapped back and were like, what are you doing? She should have been like, you're right. I made a mistake. And then she should have, as I said, played the girlfriend of the transgender character and still produced. And I think that would have helped her quite a bit. But she didn't. She just totally bowed out of the movie. And now she's done an article. This is the cover. That's why I picked that photo of the interview. And she said, I should be able to play as an actor any person, tree, or animal. And of course, people had a real hoot with that. Even with animals, it's become more specific. A lot of people, I think, rightfully feeling that this new Lion King has a little bit more authenticity in that area because, of course, it has a black cast, whereas, many of the voice actors were white for the original animated film. So, I think that's a good point with the new Lion King. That's one of the things the new Lion King has going for it. But I just can't believe this. And I thought I agree with you, Dennis. She's just still really upset about it and she can't hold it in. I'm shocked. And also, you have to understand, when there are articles, you're briefed for the interview. Your publicist is usually supposed to be sitting there with you. Your publicist can threaten the publication not to publish what you said. They can do it nicely with a carrot or a stick. With a stick, they can say, we'll sue you. Although I'm sure the conversation was taped. With the carrot, they can say, how'd you like a couple more interviews exclusive in the future with maybe some of my other clients? I'm sure whoever Scarlett Johansson's publicist is has other A-list clients. Or you can say, how would you like an exclusive visit to the Black Widow movie set? Right? I would just be like, there are ways that we can make this article disappear. But they didn't. She said it, and then even more miraculously, it was published. And of course, the internet had a fit. And it happened on a Saturday, so there was nothing else to talk about. So just the focus was on ScarJo. She trended very high for most of the day. And I honestly feel that it's not great for the Black Widow movie. And I'm sure Kevin Feige, who's probably getting ready to make some official announcements about it at the end of this week, a week from yesterday, a week from when that article broke, is like, are you kidding me? Maybe she's inspired by Brie Larson, right? But I have to tell you, Brie Larson is like the opposite of this viewpoint that Scarlett Johansson has. I think the Constance Wu comparison is apt. And I also feel that Brie Larson, I respect Brie Larson for this, she's dialed it down. She's been like, you know what? Those comments didn't really work for me overall. And so she's like, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm the star of a $1 billion picture. I'm going to try and be a little bit more friendly to everybody. And good for Brie Larson. It's working out quite well for her. Now, I'm not saying Brie Larson won't say something stupid in the near future, but I bet, it's less likely. Because she's had a lot of opportunities to say dumb things on all the red carpets she's been on recently, and she has not. So that's impressive. And she's done a bunch of interviews to promote Captain Marvel, and she didn't. So I'm just really surprised. And I wonder how Kevin Feige feels about it. I think he's probably, it's the only Marvel film that is shooting right now, so it has to have that May release date. I'm sure there'll be jokes about Groot. I saw some already, but she has to be having that May release date for the next Marvel movie. And I just don't understand it. Really, at least I'd be like, I hope you got it out of your system like a year out from before your movie comes out. Please don't ever bring it up again, right? I think that Scarlett Johansson should wonder about whether or not she wants to ever play anything again. Forget a tree or an animal. I'd be like, how'd you like to get no offers for jobs? And I'm surprised that nobody is saying this to her. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. Bam. It's 10:42. Where is everybody watching from today? Thank you, Gemini. I am a Brie Larson. I wouldn't say a Brie Larson stan, but I'm close. And as you can see, so there's hope for you, Jessica Chastain. As you can see, I'm always open to changing my mind about somebody. Nothing's ever done. And I think that more people in Hollywood should realize that. Okay. So Sohail, I like your new profile pic, Sohail. Cloudy Glasgow. Ted is enjoying a Snickers ice cream bar in San Antonio, Texas. That sounds delightful. I've kind of given up on ice cream now. I can't eat it anymore. It's just, I don't like the way, I just don't like it. Let's see here. Zachary, it's 12:43 a.m. in Australia. Thanks for staying up with me. Oh, Helene's also eating ice cream. I'm so jealous of all of you and your ice cream. Dane is in Sydney, Australia. Ingrid is in sunny Dallas. Mourinho is in Argentina visiting his parents, cooking Sunday lunch, making spaghetti. Aw, what a good son you are. Let's see here. Joseph is in Joseph's in Southern California as usual. Patricio is in cloudy Mexico City and still a bit sleepy. Amy, on that note, is having coffee in New Hampshire. Mohammed is in South Africa. Let's see here. Jonah is drinking cold brew. TJ Williams says frozen yogurt is the way to go. You know, you might be right. Maybe I'll get some frozen yogurt later today. Cole says, where's the Batman casting news or Supergirl? I heard it was close. You know, it's not going to be, it might be at the beginning of this week, but if it's not going to be at the beginning of this week, it'll have to be after Comic-Con. Unless that Warner Brothers is like, we don't need to be at Comic-Con to make headlines. Radim is in the Czech Republic. Shout out to the Czech Republic. My family's from the Czech Republic. Gruz Meyer says, I've been a Brie stan since day one. Good on you. Sean says, London with no ice cream and a couple arguing outside my window. I hate that stuff. Unicorn Gleek 29 says, Houston where it's very hot. And Jan just finished breakfast here in Brazil. All right, everybody. It is 10:45. We've got 10 minutes. You can ask me anything that you would like. So that means till 10:55. And then I shall get on movie math. Daroon D23 is just like Comic-Con. It's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I have it listed here. It's the 23rd through the 25th. So it's, it's Friday. Oh yeah, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. D23 is the 23rd through the 25th. On Friday is the Disney Plus panel. There's lots of other panels, but these are the ones you're going to care about. Friday is Disney Plus. Saturday is like all their movies in one panel. It's a little ridiculous, but even animation, live action, everything. And then on Sunday, they'll be talking about the theme parks. So that's how it breaks down. James, upcoming videos, lots and lots of Comic-Con stuff. I might even take it a little bit a little bit easy on Monday and Tuesday because I'm going to be working a lot of nights because, of course, of the time difference. So I'm going to be working very late. I did not go to VidCon, Joseph. I used to go to VidCon because of my former MCN. They would fly me out there, usually just largely to meet up with them. But so I'm with a different MCN though, so I don't go there anymore. It's called D23, I believe, because 1923. I think that's either the year Mickey Mouse was started or the Disney Studio was started. Let's see here. The Walt Disney Company. Yep, 1923. October 16th, 1923. I was a D23 member for a hot minute, but it was a lot of money, and I did like getting the D23 magazine, and I wish that I could buy it independently. Maleka says, since ScarJo is not on Twitter, she wouldn't see the backlash personally. Oh, I'm sure someone who works for her saw it. I'm sure she pays people. ScarJo has a whole team. She definitely has an agent and a publicist, and they are on Twitter, I assure you. Marvel's on Twitter. Matt says, thoughts on Lion King's RT score. I'll be really curious to see how it opens. We're going to talk about it today, but it did very well in China because, as we'll discuss, they never really saw the first Lion King over there, so it's a totally new story to them. And I think there's a big curiosity factor with the Lion King. I think people enjoy these live action Disney movies. I certainly do. There is a lot of pull to go and see The Lion King again. And also, I'm sure some people wondering, is it really that bad? So I think it might have a very high opening weekend, and then maybe when audience word of mouth also is poor, and maybe it won't be, but I suspect it will, then maybe it'll stop. Maybe it'll drop. I don't think it's going to be as big. I think The Lion King, we'll see, but I suspect it'll be a mid-range, like 600, 700. I don't think it's going to do as well as Aladdin. Mika says Birds of Prey trailer to play in front of Hobbs and Shaw or Joker. I think maybe at this point Joker. I'm sure you've seen the rumors that it did not do very well with the Warner Brothers execs, so I'm not surprised. And so that movie might be, and it's very far out, so it might be having extensive reshoots and re-editing, so they might not be ready to show anything. I wouldn't think they would be. Also, it's very early for a trailer in front of Hobbs and Shaw. I would suspect Joker. MCU fan, why would you openly spoil Birds of Prey on Twitter? When I first tweeted about it, I was like, this can't possibly be true. So I was like, let's get this out here. And also because I think DC can't take any more hits like this. Like, I don't care how it's done in the film. It's going to become the Private Parts picture movie. That's, it's like a little bit like Watchmen. Remember Watchmen? Even though Zack Snyder changed a lot about the movie, I still thought it was pretty good, right? But to the general public, it just became the giant blue penis movie. That's all it was. So you got to really be careful with this stuff. And I feel like whoever they're testing these movies with doesn't know what they're doing in terms of like the audience that they have. Let's see here. Am I liking Young Justice? I am enjoying it a little bit more. It's hard to cover because nobody really has DC Universe, so nobody really talks about it, which is weird. I am excited for the Dr. Sleep movie. Let's see here. Oh, Matt, the Wonder Woman 84 campaign, Patty Jenkins has said, is going to start in December. Helene says, when do you think we'll be getting a new Joker trailer? That's a good question. It's weird that they've held back on it. They just had a big thing in Empire Magazine. They're not at Comic-Con, so we're not going to get it there. Maybe in front of Hobbs and Shaw. Or maybe in front of, maybe in front of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Those are a good match. I don't know when I'm doing an updated ranking of the MCU movies. Maybe like in August when nothing's happening. I like to do it when there's another MCU movie coming out, but there isn't one coming out until May, which is kind of weird when you think about it. So maybe I'll do it like in August when when the movie industry slows to a ridiculous crawl. Max, I love Hawkgirl, but I like her relationship with Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, so it's hard for me to think of making her part of the LGBT community. And also, I have to say, I agree with some people. Jessica Chastain would be a pretty good Hawkgirl, because Hawkgirl is always so angry. I haven't heard anything, Mika, about Supergirl and Man of Steel casting. I'm seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a week from tomorrow. And I will be doing a live viewing of Endgame, Amy. Sorry, I'm still waking up. I will be doing an Endgame live viewing, Amy, July 30th when it comes out on digital. I have it in my schedule here. Yeah, 7 p.m. Gabriel, they will cast Eric for Little Mermaid any day now. It could literally happen at any day. Maybe at D23, if they don't, but that's still like a month away. Oh, Zeester. Jessica Chastain, yeah, she was front and center for that magazine cover for It Chapter 2. I'm shocked how predictable she is. Brie Larson course corrected. Jessica Chastain does not. Although, she's making a lot of movies. She's doing, pretty well with her career. Although, of course, Dark Phoenix blew up in her face. Maybe if It Chapter 2 does as well, maybe then she might be like, maybe I'm making a little bit of a mistake. We'll see. Helene says, do you think Henry Cavill could come back as Superman if his Netflix show does well? You know what? I don't know. I'm starting to think the Warner Brothers executives must really hate him. I heard a lot of bad stories about how he is to work with, as I've told you. But Christopher McQuarrie tweeted out, and it's since deleted tweet, that, I retweeted it, that he and Henry Cavill pitched Warner Brothers a Superman movie, and they were turned down. So if you get a pitch for a Henry Cavill, Christopher McQuarrie Superman movie after Mission Impossible Fallout was such a big hit and Henry Cavill was so well received in it, you must just personally hate Henry Cavill. It reminds me of in The Godfather when that movie producer is like, I'm not casting the Frank Sinatra character because if I do, it's going to make him a big star, and I hate him for personal reasons. Remember that famous scene, and that's why the producer gets a horse's head. Too bad Danny Garcia doesn't have a horse's head to put in the bed of the Warner Brothers executives. But they must just really hate him, because how do you not greenlight that movie? All right, we have 2 minutes. What's my Starbucks order? A large, I don't even know the sizes. I'm not a Starbucks person, but I like the large unsweetened black iced tea. James, yes, Christopher McQuarrie is doing 2 Mission Impossible films in a row, but he could have done it another time. Maybe this was pitched before that deal was made. We don't know. Do I think Aladdin will make $1 billion, Waffles? It could, but it doesn't need to. It's so close that it basically did, and it's huge. Nobody ever expected the movie to do that well. It's a huge, huge hit. It couldn't be a bigger hit. Carla, I don't know if I'll be watching The Farewell. I will be watching it for sure at some point. I'm a big Awkwafina fan. Helene says, do you think we'll be getting another Star Wars Episode 9 trailer anytime soon? Maybe at D23. Oh, it's 10:55. Sohail says, will Endgame beat Avatar? It's really close, but I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. The Matt goes and says, should Prince Eric be a person of color? I'm torn on it. I'm torn. I think you want a diverse cast, but I think it's important to show, I think we've had a lot of mixed race couples already in Hollywood, and I think it would, in movies, and I think it would be really nice just to show a wonderful because, even The Princess and the Frog was a mixed race couple. I think it would be really nice to show an all-black couple in The Little Mermaid. It's a Caribbean a fairy tale. So I think that's the way they should go. My next screening is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a week from tomorrow. All right, everybody, have a lovely day. Movie Math will be going up later this afternoon. Bye. Bye, everybody.